All right, here is the full replay of that match against Alucard. This match was a ton of fun, and I thought it was really important to make a commentary track over this match because you'll see in this game that there were a lot of mistakes made by the team in general and also by myself just personally, and I think it's always important to point out and take responsibility for your mistakes and learn from them, because I think that makes you a better player. Rather than, cry that I lost and Demon's OP and go to Reddit and make a post about it. Instead, how about I say, hey, here's the things that I did wrong, the things I need to do better next time if I'd like to come close to winning a match like this. This match also is not, it does make it to the book, but I don't think it really was as close as you'd think. He destroys the book at like a minute 30. Spoilers, but you probably already saw that in my video if you watched yesterday. But yeah. I also want to say that my team played really well in this match. I was very surprised by their performance. Obviously, we still made some mistakes, but everyone in this game did a great job, I thought.
That's actually quite nice.
Especially in terms of sticking together. They stuck together really well, which is really nice. That's a rarity in solo queue. I actually felt like we got really lucky with spawns to start the game, and then we got kind of unlucky later on with where the blue objective spawned. But that's just kind of how it goes. And you'll see when we get there that we really played it poorly as far as the order in which we did the blue objectives. But we got very lucky to spawn in Fishing Village number 1, which is one of the best places to spawn. And number 2, the objective itself, the map piece, spawned in Fishing Village with us, which is really nice. I was delegated to the Cheryl role in this match, because everybody else picked, double warrior, hunter, and so I wanted to fill out with support, obviously.
A beacon in the darkness.
Which is also, by the way, why I'm not as aggressive in terms of like what objectives we're doing and where we're going. When I play support in solo queue, which is the only way that I play, I tend to just follow my team, and wherever they go is where I go. I'm not like running off trying to be the leader. I'm just trying to stick with people because I can't defend myself very well as a support, and my job is to just be near my teammates and heal them. And you can see we leveled up pretty well here. Sledgehammer right out the gate, which is nice. Always pick that up, by the way. Doesn't matter what class you are, really. At this point in the game, you basically want a sledgehammer on everybody. Right here, you can see the Henry's lagging behind a little bit. And I kind of look back and I'm like, oh, what do I do here? Because I know going into this match who we're playing against. So I'm like, God, if they take... And then I see them looking back. And I'm like, oh no, is the demon on him? Like, is he staring back at a possessed unit? What's going on back there? So if I ever... By the way, if I ever offer any kind of like criticisms or tips towards anyone else in this match, if someone happens to see this video that was one of the survivors, it's not meant with any malice. It's me simply being like, hey, this wasn't done well and could be done better next time, because I make some mistakes on my own, and I'll point those out when we get to it in the video. I make quite a few mistakes, which I think is the essence of Evil Dead, and why this match was so much fun. Is if you play against a good demon player, that's what they're supposed to do, is force you into making mistakes. And that's what he did, and that's why we lost. Right now, the Henry is taking way too much time. Wherever they're at right now. And at this point, I've now decided I'm just going to commit to my 3 teammates. And the Henry's going to be on his own, because the worst thing that I could do is split myself and just kind of stand between my Ash and my Kelly and the Henry. Because if I do that, then it's possible the demon could find me and then I'm stuck. See, like that right there, I should have dodged that. That's a minor mistake right there. Not a huge deal, because even if I take a tiny bit of damage like that, I always have my Q available to top myself up, but it is something I should have dodged. I think at this point, the Henry kind of makes his way over to us, and then we do a good job of sticking together for most of the rest of the match. Now you'll see, here comes our first mistake. You see the pages over there? It's about 430 meters away. We have that, and then we have the daggers, or the dagger. That's down by Terminal Station, and we wind up going dagger first. And we should have went pages first. But, you know, I'm just kind of following whoever. I'm not really trying to make too much of a commitment one way or the other. I'm just following where my team goes, because like I said, I'm playing support. Honestly, no, I guess that's the car that was near us. I was going to say, at that point, I know the demon knows where we are. So maybe I should have grabbed a car nearby, but there really isn't any, because he spends the whole game flipping every car. So we don't have any at this point. Sticking together. Like, I wish the Henry would stick a little closer than that. I also didn't like this. I didn't love stopping off by the bridge. So when it happened, I didn't love it. But then I was kind of like, you know, I actually don't mind this. So I actually put points in melee here, which is something I normally don't do. And I think it was because I wanted the extra attack speed, the tiny bit of extra attack speed to help break a balance bar faster. Probably not a good idea, in all honesty. But I was really looking at, like, my pink F, knowing who we're dealing with, and being like, well, you know, maybe I need to switch it up, because normally when I go for range damage is to help me take out basic units faster, but that's probably less of a priority against a demon that is this good. And then at this point, I'm headshotting units, and I'm like, wait, it's not one-shotting them. Maybe I should have put points into ranged. So that was probably a mistake. Because then later on, that causes me to run out of ammo a lot faster. Or a lot sooner than I otherwise would have if I was one-tapping these units. So that was probably a mistake on my part. And this is truthfully where we lost the game, is going for the dagger first. We lost the game right here. If we had gone to the pages first, and then gone down to terminal, and then made our way back up to the sewage treatment plant, I still think personally, I still think we would have lost. Because we just took way too long to do anything. But it would have been closer than it was. Like, we probably wouldn't have had Kelly dead on the book stage. So that was just a brutal puke. That was like a double puke right there. I got a really nice shot there to stop him from, like, stun locking me, which was huge. And in general, I was very fortunate to not have him land those first couple of hits that he tried to throw at me there. You'll notice that I'm trying to be really careful to dodge as much as possible to avoid getting hit, taking unnecessary hits. Amazing job on my team right there to just stun lock the hell out of me and stop me from doing any damage. Because I can't do much as a support, but I am spec'd into range. That's another problem, is I got to make sure that I'm more careful with elites. Those wide, heavy swings are pretty insane and actually can hit like behind them. And I got caught by one of those. See, that's why I wish, one thing I wish they would add is like an inventory in the UI that shows how many amulets and shemps everybody has. Because I have a hard time believing that all my teammates have max shemps right now. Because no one's picked this up for an hour, so I'm like, all right, screw it. I'll just burn it to top everybody off and then pick it up. But assuming everyone wasn't already maxed on shemps, that probably wasn't a good play, but there's not a whole lot I could do there because, ooh, that was kind of a saucy dodge. I didn't even know that that was there. That was a reaction dodge. That is the worst, where you get caught in the animation of picking something up. I think at one point, maybe it's not in this match, but I have a match where I use an amulet and then I get hit like while I'm locked in the animation of using it. And it just takes out the amulet that I just used and then some, so it's just a complete waste. That's the worst when that happens. When a basic just like sneaks up on you. Decent amount of peak F here. Look at that. We're already maxed out, which is huge. I wonder if anyone actually picks that up. Nobody does. So I'm just sitting here and I'm like, man, is everybody really topped out on shems? That's crazy to me. The main reason I have a hard time believing it is because you'll see when we get later into the game, nobody really drops any shemps. So I'm like, what happened? There should be 9 shemps among all 3 of my teammates. 3 each. And I felt like we weren't getting... So I don't know if it's just a case of they used them all or what, but ideally they would have dropped them for me. Here comes Henrietta farting around. Swing and a miss. That was also a really good job on his part. I think at that point he kind of realized like, oh, this guy knows how to dodge, so he moved on to a different character to see if maybe they don't know how to dodge. That's something like if you're a demon player out there, that's something to make note of. Seems obvious, but you'd be surprised how many people don't do that. I literally played a match against a person who was crying in my YouTube comments on my last video about how I had beat them in a game. I beat him at the book last second with only 3 survivors alive. And the main reason they lost is because I was playing Hunter Ash and they kept trying to focus me for some reason. And so I just kept dodging them over and over. And it's like they didn't learn their lesson and they just kept coming after the hunter who knew how to dodge. So it's like, dude, at some point you got to like take the L and realize you're not going to be able to hit this person and try to focus somebody else who doesn't know how to dodge. That headshot didn't make any sense, but I'll take it. Really good job of sticking together here. Like, it's super unfortunate that we have no cars. Like, this long walk to the next objective is ultimately what cost us the game. And truth be told, like, yeah, we kind of did it out of order because then the walk from the pages to the dark ones was slightly longer than if we had done the dagger second. But I don't know that it would have made much of a difference now that I look at it, because I think it was a difference of like 100 meters. I think what really killed us more than anything else was just the RNG of having the dagger and pages so far apart. But also give a ton of credit to the demon as well for going around getting rid of all the cars.
They haven't got you yet, Cheryl.
Like right there, ideally you'd have some way to like be like, hey man, maybe Maybe the Ash should like heal themselves there instead of me taking a Shemps, but I don't know. Maybe that is the right play and it's just a matter of like I should take the Shemps from him. But I'm always questioning my own plays. I'm always trying to get better, so I'm like, was that the right play there? I don't know. Ooh, spicy headshot from behind. Big boss coming up. Ooh. That was a nice job of like baiting out my dodge early. I'm out now. Another good job of baiting out my dodge, a big mistake on my part. And a huge deal that they did that too, because then I had to burn my Shemps. So that's, you know, that's one Shemps down. And that's a big deal. That was a great job on their part of baiting that out. Another thing to take note of if you're a demon player and there is somebody who's good at dodging, you could just like run right up to them and try to bait them into dodging early. He does it again here and gets one dodge out of me, which is huge. I did a good job of like backing away there and avoiding that fourth hit, thankfully. I think they kind of got caught on the tree. Really good job by my team of like stepping in the way there. That's what you should always do as warrior, by the way. You should always be trying to get in, and another amazing job right there. If you're a warrior and you see the demon focusing your support, get in there and get between the possession and your support. That's how you do it. Another really good job right there. This walk just killed us, man. This walk was brutal. I have a feeling... Really, I mean, the Kelly took too much damage there, but otherwise it was a good job of ganging up on that possession. Forgot what I was gonna say. I was gonna say something about something, and I forgot because I was distracted by that elite. So if you're a hunter, by the way, you really shouldn't be taking any damage until you're like the last one left. That's why as a hunt, if you're gonna play hunter, make sure that you like really have the dodge timing down as best you can, because if you get hit a lot as a hunter, that's pretty brutal. Not that this person did, but if you're wondering why he did that, it's just to gain levels. He did it again with the Ash there. This was another big mistake. We should have never went into the cave. Like at this point, we had to be fine on pink F. So there was no reason at all to go in here, because there's no like health loot in here, which is all we really need at this point. There's not really any ammo either. So that was a huge mistake to come in here at all. We should have just kept going towards the objective, because we wind up getting caught up in this area a little bit. And like we could be at the pages right now. And instead we spent way too much time farting around near Bronson Cave. And I have no idea why we went in there. Clutch. Handgun ammo drop. Another boss. Just brutal. I don't know what the fuck that was. Excuse my language. But that was like the biggest fake out ever. It looked like they were, I don't know if that's like an animation cancel or something, but that was a huge mistake that I made right there. I wasted an entire Shemps And then I think the Kelly used one too. So that was such a massive, like, momentum swing right there. And then I'm going to have to burn another one right here. So, like, I used the Shemps to try to heal the Kelly, and she was just outside of range. Massive mistake on my part. And then on top of that, I had to burn another one to heal her, and then she used one at the same time. So basically 2 wasted Shemps there. So a huge mistake on my part. Which, you know, you need to take responsibility for your mistakes. Do I think it ultimately made the difference between winning and losing? No. I think we would have lost anyway, but it's unquestionably a massive mistake. Like I say, you need to take responsibility when you mess up. Nice little Shempskis there. A little bit more handgun ammo. Kind of a bummer how there's not a whole lot of ammo for me to use. Not a whole lot of handguns sitting around. Couldn't one-tap her. Pretty brutal. I got really worried right here for my Ashe, but my Ashe did a great job of getting into a finisher animation. Stop themselves from taking as much damage, and then I do a good job of getting in there to help, which is nice. Waste a little bit of bullets here, which is smart. It's really smart because it's like they know that I could shoot well. So you got to burn all my bullets so I can't take out these units as easily. This was also another huge mistake, but my entire team was not paying attention and was running away. So I panicked and burned a Shemps because I was like, I am by myself and nobody's really turning around. And then the truth is, I probably could have survived that. I probably could have gotten away from that without needing to use a Shemps because my Henry wound up getting there in time. So that was just a massive mistake on my part, but you know, hindsight's 20/20. I threw that down to top off my Ashe and my Henry. Unfortunately, my Henry ran off. It's kind of a bummer. That probably also was just not the best use of my Q either. I probably could have waited till everybody was a little more injured. I had some nasty dodges there until I ran out of stamina. And then I love how that didn't hit either. I actually thought that that one wasn't going to hit me. That was huge to get that Shemps off. I think he went for the grab to try to down me before I could get it off. Luckily, I did get it off. Had to burn yet another Shemps, which is brutal. At this point, he's got his balance bar max, so we can't even stun the boss anymore. And then I had to burn another Shemps, which is massive. So at this point, our resources have been exhausted so much. The game's over. Like, yeah, we're going to make it pretty far, but the game was never really in question at this point. Like, the demon had it wrapped up. It's all over but the crying, as they say. I make a huge mistake here. Look at the terrible timings on these dodges. That, like, little underhand swing that he does, I just, like, had a mental lapse and just could not figure out the timing on that. And I nearly went down from it, which is brutal. At this point, I see that Kelly's really low, but I'm like, I only have one Shemps left. I don't really want to burn it here. If she goes down, I know we've got the free res for completing the objective. So smartly there. Hey, I'll give myself credit when I make a good play too. Smartly there, I did not use
This might be too much gun.
my last Shemps. So I hope people also realize, because I've seen a number of comments on my last video like, well, you know, you guys almost beat like the best demon player and you're a bunch of like randoms. That's an indicator to me that the game's wildly survivor. We did not almost beat them, okay? The game was really not that close. Like, if the way you judge a game's closeness is whether or not you get to the book, I think that's not a great way of looking at it. I like to look at things based on how much time was left when the book was destroyed. And there was a lot of time left. Like, he destroyed the book pretty quickly, so the game really wasn't that close. It went on for a long time, which I think is a good thing, so that it's like, oh, as long as your team is reasonably competent and can work together, you'll at least get to play a full match. But ultimately, the game was never in doubt. Like, the demon had it wrapped up at this point. So I'm running over here to potentially use that window if I need to, in case the boss tries to focus me. He doesn't, of course, which is smart. I was kind of expecting a grab there, never got one. Big dodges there, which was nice. That's probably my nicest set of dodges I had the whole game. I go back up here because, again, I'm like, maybe I'll need to use this window as an escape route. This was another thing, like, I don't know how good of an idea this was, because I understand what the Kelly was trying to do. She's thinking like, oh, if we get a car here, like, that could be really clutch for us. I think that it would have been much better for the Kelly to just stick with us and help kill that boss faster, especially because, again, hindsight being 2020. That was also a really dumb use of my shemps. I don't know why I did that. Hindsight being 2020, the car winds up not being a factor anyway in the end. Like, even though she was able to go get that car, we wind up not even being able to use it. Another, like, very small mistake here is I missed that shemps. I have no idea why, and I wind up having to come back for it, which is not great. Somehow that killed the car, evidently. So then I see it. Oh no, now I gotta go back here. I think Kelly actually picks this up though, which is also brutal that she took that.
Not gonna survive without a shemps, please.
So at this point, I don't think anyone has any shemps except for the Kelly. Because I started asking for it and I don't get any. And I'm like, hey man, can I have a little handgun ammo too? Missed my shot there, brutal. Another thing I also want to say too, like, because I make this mistake as a warrior quite often as well. Try to make room for your hunters or any range character to land headshots. Like, don't just swarm the possessed unit to the point where like nobody can land a shot on them. That's really gonna hurt you as a team. So just try to like leave a lane for your hunters or whoever to be able to shoot the possessed unit and get headshots on them. So this is where we actually lose the match right here. I got a little nervous, get trapped in the corner there, but I was able to dodge out, thankfully. Henry does a great job of kind of stun locking the possessed Ash. So clearly we didn't see that the storm was coming here. So I see the boss coming in, and at this point I know that I'm gonna use this railing to get away from the boss in case the boss comes up here. So I vault this, and my hope is that the Kelly will also vault it. after me, but then the Kelly gets stuck in the house, and that's it for Kelly. So the game's over now. If it was ever in doubt before, which I really don't think it was, it definitely is over now. Because now we're not going to have enough damage to defend the book from a potential boss spawn. The Ash actually made a really good play there by going, walking ahead. And trying to take out the dark ones. Mistime my dodge there on the AoE. I get a really nice dodge timing after this, but just keep that in mind. Oh, that was nasty. That was the one right there. So another thing that I wish survivors would eventually like learn is to 99% the dark ones. On their last bar of health, just get them to 99 and then clear out any potential possessions, because they're always going to try to start on the book really quickly. Now I know how this demon plays, so I know that they're going to place portals on the back end and then try to possess and get a head start on the book, so I go back there and try to activate it. I also then try to get in there and stun them, but evidently you can't do that. They're able to get to the book and you're not as a survivor, which I think kind of stinks, but I at least just want the opportunity to get in there and hit them. Give me a chance to stop him. He lands a big heavy there, which doesn't help, but I mean, the game's over at this point anyway. I'm also trying to get in there and body block as much as I can, even as a support, but couldn't quite get there in time. And also you can see I'm whiffing on like my sledgehammer hits too. Like I got to be more on point with my sledgehammer hits. And this is when it's really over, is when the boss comes back out. Because now without a hunter, we don't have the damage to take out this boss. So that's it right there. So there you go. I hope this video is like helpful and informational, so then you know like, hey, here's the mistakes they made and here's the things that I can like do better if I wind up playing against a demon this good. So here you go. There are the stats right there. The Ash did a great job. Everybody really did a good job. I think everybody did a pretty good job. I was pretty surprised by my healing. Felt like I would have had a lot more than that because of how many shemps I used. I only had 9,000 healing. Kind of blows my mind that there's people who get 20k healing. I'm like, dude, is the demon just like toying with you the whole time? And like, I don't know. It must be a case where like the team does a really good job of giving all their shemps to the support, is what I'm guessing happens there. 30k damage on a support. Pretty proud of that. 73 headshots. On the Kelly side of things, I probably would have liked to see more than 2 headshots, but they still did a ton of damage. So I'm not sure what weapon they were using, probably a shotgun. But overall, I think everybody did really well. And that was probably one of the most fun matches I've ever played in Evil Dead, even though we wound up losing. And I think that that was a good demonstration of just how balanced I think this game is at the highest level. Like, you know, ultimately we made a bunch of mistakes and the game really wasn't ever in jeopardy at a certain point. Like about halfway through the match, even the demon player knew that they had it wrapped up, that this game was over. So even if it makes it to the book, they know like I'm not going to lose at the book because I got my boss maxed out. I've caused them to use too many resources, so on and so forth. So I think it was a really fun match. I hope that this match, if you watch through it, helps you, whether you're a demon player, whether you're a survivor player, even if you're like a demon player that is paying attention to the way the demon was playing, or you're just watching a survivor's perspective of a group that played fairly well together and getting an idea of like what you should do, kind of those little things like oh, this guy knows how to dodge, so maybe I should go focus on this other guy and see if they know how to dodge. And if they don't, hey, now you've found your target for the match. That sort of thing. So I hope it helps you no matter which side you're on. I really appreciate you watching this longer video here of a very long match replay. And as always, if you made it this far in the video, I hope you subscribe, like the video, all that fun stuff. And I will see you all in the next video.